Publicly funded and costs around $18 million. It is expected to be completed around late 2026 or early 2027. In the Shaw neighborhood, Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A new study says the City Arch River project is making a big economic impact.
Completed in 2018. That includes the renovated Gateway Arch National Park, St. Louis Riverfront, and Keener Plaza. Ryan McClure of Gateway Arch Park Foundation was a guest on the Chris and Amy show and provided the results of the study based on 2024 data.
We're just so grateful to find out that, $570 million in economic impact to the St. Louis region from Gateway Arch National Park and its surroundings last year. And this is the first economic impact study that we have done since the City Arch River project was completed.
McClure attributes part of that booming dollar amount to the 2.5 million people who visited the Arch grounds and the park last year. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
The deadline for the City of St. Louis senior citizen property tax freeze credit has been extended to July 31st. French police have detained 12 suspects after 145 people reported being pricked with syringes during the country's annual street music festival. Before the party, posts on social media had called for women to be targeted during the festivities. Officials didn't say if these were cases of needle spiking with date rape drugs like GHB used by attackers to render victims confused or unconscious and vulnerable to sexual assault. Taking a look at the weather, it is sponsored for you by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. And let's get the very latest here. It's going to be extremely hot. An extreme heat warning in effect until tomorrow night. Today's high, 98 degrees, sunny, hot, and humid. Tomorrow and Wednesday, we're going to be in the upper 90s as well. In fact, we don't have any relief at all this week. 98 on Thursday. Right now in downtown St. Louis, it is 91 degrees. It feels like 95. And Penn Mutual, they believe that life insurance is the central part of a sound financial plan, that it can make an enduring impact for generations to come. Talk to your independent advisor or go to pennmutual.com/STL. Penn Mutual, trusted for life. It's 12:04. I'm Debbie Monterey, KMOX News.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. And by Anderson Hospital, a Newsweek World's Best Hospital. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Swing and hello, 4th of July. Take a ride on that knockdown pitch, big boy. Kerry Wood knocked him down, and now Albert looks at him as he goes around first. He gives him a glare. Say, take a little whiff of that, big boy. And now Kerry Wood takes a look at Albert as he touches them all. Give it to him, big boy. Give it to him.
There's just nothing like that call. There's nothing like Cards Cubs, and there's no show like the Gashouse Gang. What a week we have, Chris Ranji.
That's right, baby. Big series, a 4-gamer at Busch Stadium, and it will be 1 million degrees.
It will be. The heat is on, as they said in 1985.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I used to have that tape.
Glenn Fry.
The VHS, that's right.
We have David Kaplan, the Chicago media legend, joining us here in just a few minutes. We have John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, a legend in his own right, at 12:30. We have Ollie Marmol on Tuesday. We have Bob Costas on Wednesday, all on the Gashouse Gang. Heck, John Gruden's throwing out the first pitch on Wednesday night at Busch Stadium.
What is it with John Gruden and he had
He's
the Blues
adopted
jersey?
St. Louis.
How did that happen?
He's fallen in love with the Blues. I think started it, and then the Cardinals brought him in, and he's into the Battlehawks, and this guy's just all over the place.
Well,
so,
I'm welcome in.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go. So John Gruden will be here. It's a great week. Cubs fans will be in the house. Cardinals fans in there. Everybody will be in Busch Stadium this week for the Cardinals and the Cubs. This is a great rivalry, Chris, and it is enhanced when you have the situation that you're in. The Cardinals are surprisingly good. I think a lot of people thought that they would be in development, including me. Lo and behold, they are 4.5 games out, and you have 4 games against the Cubs.
It is look, you've got to be happy with where they are. So if somebody said to you preseason, right in the middle of spring training, all right, Cardinals are going to be about 4.5 games back. You get toward the end of June when they've got the Cubs in town, and the first time the two teams are playing each other, I'd say a 4.5 game deficit would be okay. That's That's pretty good. I'll take that. And also 6 games over 500, because that's not really what I expected them to be. So I totally agree with you on that. So now I think the enormity of the series, and I don't want to overstate it because it's not that. I don't think this is a make or break or anything like that, but it is very important considering you've got the trade deadline coming up. You have these 4 games happening against the Cubs this week. Then next week, you're going to go play them in their building. You're going to have a 3-game series there. So you got 7 games here over the course of about a week or so that will be important to them in helping them decide what they do prior to the deadline. So these series are very, very important. Last thing you can afford is being swept at home. I don't think that happens. You really don't want to lose 3 or 4 at home either. Ideally, you got to take 3 or 4 in this one, get yourself within 2.5 games of the top of the division, and now you're talking about a race as you get a real race as you get closer to the deadline.
Cardinals need to do what they do best. They need to pitch and pitch to contact and let their elite defense make plays behind, and they need to make contact on offense. If you like to see contact with the baseball, go catch a Cardinals game because there's a lot of that. The Cubs are really good. We're going to find out how good they are when we come back. David Kaplan, the one and only, joins us. He'll be all fired up.
My guy.
About his day. Oh, I love him. Back in a moment on KMOX's Gashouse Gang. You had a solid retirement dream. Sell your home in a few years, bank the equity, downsize, and travel. But with an unpredictable economy and the future feeling uncertain, you're wondering if that equity will still be there when you're ready. What if you could bank that equity right now? With Truehold, you can sell your home for its current value so you can access your equity today. You can bank the cash now and stay in the home you love with an easy standard lease. Truehold even covers property taxes, insurance, and repairs. And since Truehold hands over your equity in cash now, it's yours to do whatever you like. Don't let a shifting economy put your hard-earned equity at risk. Visit Truehold.com and receive their competitive offer on your home in just 48 hours, based on its best current value, not what's coming. Call 1-855-300-9993 or visit Truehold.com. The smarter, faster way to cash out on your home's value without moving. That's Truehold.com.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free...
This is breaking news from St. Louis's News Radio, KMOX.
This is a CBS News special report. I'm John Dickerson in New York. We're coming on the air with breaking news. Iran has retaliated against the United States, launching a bombing attack on the American air base in Qatar. This comes after U.S. strikes over the weekend targeted 3 Iranian nuclear sites, with B-2 bombers dropping 30,000-pound bunker buster bombs in support of a war that Israel launched on Iran more than a week ago. We're going to turn to our senior national security correspondent, Charlie D'Agata, who is at the Pentagon. Charlie, what do we know about these so far, about what the Pentagon knows about these attacks? And what about that base in Qatar? Remind people why it's so important.
Yeah, well, first of all, we've been in touch with Central Command, CENTCOM, which is really, that is their headquarters in the Middle East. It's the Al Udeid Air Base. There are 9,000 U.S. troops there. It's the hub for most of the operations that are taking place from the United States military in the Middle East. So we're talking like Afghanistan, Syria, Iraq, obviously Iran in this case. We've seen some images, and we're trying to get an idea to verify them. But this is a base that has been established, and President Trump actually visited the base last May, as a matter of fact. So we had the order. There were some rumblings that there was, among the Qataris, of a shelter in place. That happened a couple of hours ago. And there was a suggestion that Iran might take aim at one or more U.S. bases. This isn't a small base. This isn't Al-Assad, which we're hearing could be in the target lines as well, and that's in Iraq, about 2,500 people. This is a huge base, and it's also very well defended. So whether this is a sort of symbolic attack, we don't know the number of missiles that were sent over there. Again, we're trying to verify with CENTCOM, Central Command themselves, and verify that video that we've been watching. But this is not only one of the biggest bases, but it's also one of the best defended. So it might be symbolic that the Iranians are saying, look, we're going to hit you right where you live, right at your Central Command headquarters in the Middle East, but also it's more likely that this base and the anti-missile defenses from the Qataris and the United States would be able to intercept those missiles coming in. So really light on detail right now as far as the gravity of this and how many missiles have been fired or intercepted. But yes, we can confirm that something is underway at the Al Udeid base. Defenses are up. Troops are sheltering in place. And we don't know if this is just the first of many or whether it's the last.
Okay, Charlie Daggett at the Pentagon. Thank you. Let's bring.
You've been listening to a CBS News special report here on KMOX. Iran has launched a retaliatory strike against U.S. assets in the Middle East. Let's take a listen in now to a reporter in Doha,
Iran
Qatar.
state media is reporting that Iran has launched a missile operation called Annunciation of Victory or Blessings of Victory, depending on the translation, against U.S. bases here in Iraq and in Qatar. Now, you heard just then from Charlie about the situation at the Al Udeid base in Qatar. The Reuters news agency is reporting that U.S. forces at the Al Assad base here in Iraq have been placed on maximum alert and ordered to shelter in bunkers. We'll update you with any more information we get.
CBS's Holly Williams. She is actually in Iraq. Again, this is a CBS News special report. Iran has launched retaliatory strikes on U.S. assets in the Middle East. We'll continue to follow this story and bring you any updates as they become available. For now, Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Named one of Newsweek's world's best hospitals for 2025, Anderson Hospital is your hospital for life, delivering exceptional, compassionate care to families across the Metro East. From emergency services to specialized treatments, our dedicated team supports your health at every stage. Experience world-class care close to home. Discover the difference at andersonhospital.org.
Summer is here. Time to enjoy baseball, barbecues, and the shade of your trees. When it comes to tree care, call the certified arborist at Gamma Tree Experts. Hi, I'm Tim Gamma. Protect your valuable trees from storm damage or devastating insects such as the emerald ash borer. Knowledge and quality are hallmarks of our reputation. For pruning, spraying, fertilization, or removals, call Gamma Tree Experts today at 314-725-6159 or visit us at gammatree.com. Your trees deserve the best care.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at lancedrurylaw.com.
Celebrate Independence Day with a free concert by the U.S. Air Force Band of Mid-America. July 2nd, 7 p.m. at Logan University in Chesterfield, showcasing patriotic music and more. Get free tickets at afbandtix.org. That's afbandtix.org.
104.1 FM KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Stronger than ever.
Going to be a hot one at Busch Stadium tonight. The Cardinals and the Cubs. 6:45 start right here on KMOX. 5:50 for the pregame. Right now it is the Gashouse Gang with producers Matt Pajeski, Frank Ladd, and with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Pleased to bring in our dear friend from Chicago, ESPN 1000, David Kaplan joins us on KMOX. How are you, Cap?
I'm good, man. How's everything going with you guys?
Always good. Always great to talk to you. I love this guy. We have so much in common. One thing that separates us, though, David Kaplan hates, and I mean hates with a capital H, the St. Louis Cardinals. Why is that, Cap?
Well, for so many years, and I guess the word, because I made a vow that I wouldn't use the word hate anymore back at New Year's. My wife said, do you have to use the word hate? You don't have hate in your heart. I said, okay. And my partner, Jonathan Hood, on the radio said, I've got a better word for you. I loathe the St. Louis Cardinals. Because growing up a Cubs fan, we were the epitome of ineptitude. The Cardinals were got to get a bunt down, they'll get it down. Got to hit behind a runner, they'll hit behind a runner. Beat my team, they're going to probably do that too. And I just got sick of Cardinal Nation and the Cardinal way. And then finally, 2015, almost as good as the night we won the World Series. Almost. Beating the Cardinals' ass at Wrigley to knock them out of the NLDS was one of the sweetest things I'd ever seen. And so I root against them with every fiber, but I do respect that organization.
Do you feel, Cap, like it's just, does it feel a little more even now than it used to?
When you say even, because we won in 2016,
yeah, finally,
you have 11. Yeah. I think we've got 3.
Yeah.
So no.
Okay.
It is not even. Would I like to go down there? I only take them one batter, one pitch, one out at a time. I hope my mantra is every day, wake up after a good night's sleep, grab a cup of coffee, and find a way to win a baseball game. So that's where I'm at for tonight.
Let me ask you the long view of the Cubs, but also the short view first. What happened over the weekend against the Seattle Mariners?
Look, the conditions were oppressive for both sides. For both sides. I don't want to see Cal Raleigh again. That guy was ridiculous. He was really, really good. He's an amazing, amazing hitter. The Cubs just didn't pitch that well, and they've got to figure out. They're getting Imanaga back, and he's going to start against you guys Thursday afternoon. That's a huge addition to our rotation. And then, as I said to you when we spoke on Saturday, Tom, like Jed's got a lot of money in his budget that he has allocated for this deadline. I don't think the Cardinals play in the deep end of the pool like that, and I fully believe he's going to go out and whether it's Sandy Alcantara in a trade, Edward Cabrera from the Marlins, who he likes a lot. I know they liked Chris Sale, but he just went on the injured list with a broken rib cage, so that's going to be a bit of a problem. And then we're still over a month from the deadline, so they're going to have to let this play out for the next 3 or so weeks and see who falls out of it. Is Zach Gallen and Merrill Kelly going to hit the market? Are you going to see the Mariners put Luis Castillo on the market? There's going to be teams in the next less than a month fall off the table, and you're going to look and go, they're trading who? And we have the chips in a very good farm system and an ownership that is going to let Jed spend pretty much what he needs to spend. I'm not telling you they'd let him take the $95 million left on Jacob deGrom's deal if he was to get moved, but they are going to let him bring in talent because they feel they can win the World Series. We'll see.
So you don't think there's any chance of them at all going through the trade deadline and not picking up a starter, which seems to be the one thing they need the most?
Not a chance. Not a chance. They would have to literally fall flat on their face over the next 25 days and be terrible and be 5 games back where you go, oh, God, or they have unfortunate injury troubles. If they keep playing like they're playing and they stay at or near the top of their division, they're pushing their chips in and they're going to get the best available starter if possible.
This is David Kaplan, who knows the Cubs as well as anybody, with Chris Ranji, Tom Ackerman on the Gashouse Gang. Cap, if there's one area where these teams are even, I see it defensively. I mean, the Cardinals lead Major League Baseball right now in what's called outs above average, a metric that a lot of people use for defense. And I think a big driver of that, Mason Wynn. Certainly Victor Scott, who can get to balls in a heartbeat out in center field. He's a tremendous fielder. But if he has an equal in center field, it is Pete Crow Armstrong. I mean, we talk about his ability at the plate, and it is tremendous, but he is one heck of an outfielder, Cap.
Pete Crow Armstrong is, I believe, going to win the Gold Glove in center field. He's off to an amazing start. If you voted today, would he win the National League MVP? Maybe, maybe not. I bet him live on the air. We were doing our show, and I bet him at 55-1, and now he's down to 7-1. He's an amazing young man. The fan base just loves him like I haven't seen in a long time. Kyle Tucker is probably a better player all around. His numbers may not be quite as good this year as PCA's are. But if you were drafting, and I said you could draft anyone off the Cubs, you probably would take Kyle Tucker. Most would. But PCA, I mean, this kid is just 20-plus steals. He's on pace to do 40-40. I don't think he gets to 40 home runs, but we're going to find out. He's going to come close if he keeps this pace up. I do think he's going to steal 40 bags.
Do you think that what we're seeing from him, I mean, this is it, right? Like, this is what you expected, or is this better than you thought he was going to be?
I did not think we'd see this kind of power. I thought he'll steal bases. He'll play Gold Glove defense. He'll get hits because of his speed, knock a few into the gap and stretch him into doubles and triples. 21 bombs and 60-some RBIs, and we're not at July 1st? No. Nobody. Jed was on with us last week, and even he said, look, when we tried to make the deal, this is Jed talking, they asked for Brett Beatty. They asked for Francisco Alvarez. This was for Trevor Williams and Javi Baez at the deadline, and they said no. So he said, all right, we'll take Pete Crow Armstrong, who was at the time recovering from shoulder surgery. He only played 6 games in the Mets system before they traded him. He was their first-round pick the previous year. And so nobody saw this type of power coming. Like, if you see him tonight take one out, don't be surprised.
The guy that's always concerned me is Seiya Suzuki. I mean, he's got 20 home runs already. He had 21 all last year.
Right. He's a beast. Not a great defender. He is, like yesterday, he missed 2 balls in right field. This guy won whatever the Japanese version of a Gold Glove is. He won it. And he is not a great defensive player. And he hit 2 home runs yesterday. And he talked about it after the game through his interpreter. He said, yeah, I know I hit 2 home runs. I've got to be better defensively. And he wasn't. So he's a really good hitter as a DH.
Cap, over the weekend, Sammy Sosa, and it was actually Friday that this happened, that they finally allowed him back at the ballpark. It had been 21 years. Meanwhile, here in St. Louis, Mark McGwire had been here, even worked for the team. Barry Bonds has been in San Francisco a lot. But it was just Sosa who was shut out from the ballpark. What were your thoughts on him finally being allowed back at Wrigley Field?
I thought it was super cool. I understood because I had a front row seat to it. I'll tell you a quick story. This is going back at least 10 years ago. I get a phone call one morning super early, like 6:15 in the morning. Phone rings. I answer it. It's somebody who works with the Cubs. And they said, can you be on a plane this afternoon to Florida? Why? Because Sammy wants to do a sit down. We don't know exactly what he's going to say, but he's going to basically apologize, and then he's going to be welcomed back to the Cubs and probably be an ambassador. I don't know what the role was going to be. And I said, done. Why me? They said, because he and I had a good relationship. He wants to talk to you. He trusts you. I said, okay, done. And me and the head of original content for NBC, Ryan McGuffey, who's my dearest friend in the world, we get on a plane with 2 camera guys. We fly down to Florida. This is going to happen at 8 a.m. the next morning in Sammy's office in Fort Lauderdale. And when we land, somebody from the Cubs is waiting for us. And he said, interview's off. Why? The Dominican ambassador to the United States said Sammy can't apologize because when he went in front of Congress with those other players, he would have perjured himself when he said, I don't speak English, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. And so I call Senator Dick Durbin from Illinois. And I had gotten to know him because he would come over to my old radio station, WGN. And so I call him on his cell. He's like, hey, how can I help you? I said, I'm in Florida. I'm supposed to interview Sammy Sosa tomorrow. I don't know what he's going to say. I don't know what he's going to admit to or apologize for. But his people are telling him because of what he said in front of Congress, it could be perjury. Can you tell me if you guys would go after him? And he laughed and said, "Are you kidding? We got so many other things going on in this country. No, we will not be going after him for anything. You have my word." Okay, I tell them, and Sammy says, "No, I'm not going to do the interview." So we end up flying back to Chicago with no interview, thus the stalemate, because the Ricketts family had said to him, "If you want to work for us, we deserve a little honesty." That was their opinion. And again, you could say you disagree. You could say you agree. They own the team. You want their money. You want a gig. That's the rules, man. Mark McGuire has apologized. Andy Pettit has apologized. There's been a bunch of dudes that came out and said, "Yeah, I made a mistake. I was rehabbing," whatever the excuse is. He never said that. So a couple years later, my buddy Ryan and I fly down there. We do a sit-down with Sammy. He apologizes for leaving the stadium early, but he doesn't want to address anything else. And so this thing just kept festering. We flew down there again like 3 years later. He called, "Sammy, would you come down and interview me again? I got to make this right." And we do. He doesn't want to address the elephant in the room. And now, finally, the Ricketts family mediates it, and he comes back and he apologizes he didn't really go to the level I think everyone thought he would, but it's over. It's done. He was at the convention in January, and he was super cool. First person there to embrace him when he got out of the SUV on Friday, Tom Ricketts.
Wow. What a time that was back in 98. And here we are 21 years after his last appearance at Wrigley. Sammy Sosa was back. Meanwhile, Mark McGuire ended up on the staff winning a world championship. I mean, all of that happened in different lanes. Last thing, Cap, before we go real quick, Ben Brown tonight. I mean, if he can get through that first inning, you'll be in good shape. If not, I think you're headed down a bad path with him. He could be a candidate for the bullpen, or could be for demotion, just in general, couldn't he?
I guess he could, but I'm not a huge Colin Ray guy as a starter. He's okay. He was not good this weekend. What do you do with? I think Colin Ray could go to the pen better than maybe Ben Brown could go to the pen. I think the pen is something you've got to develop him to do. There's no reason he doesn't go out and pitch a good ball game. None. But you're right. First inning usually is a problem for him. We'll see.
Great to visit with you. Have a great week. We'll be texting you, I'm sure, relentlessly.
I look forward to it, my man.
All right. Great to visit with David Kaplan.
Go Cubbies.
USPN 1000 with us on KMOX. We'll take a break. We're going to get an update here momentarily on the situation. Iraq has retaliated against the United States. A CBS News update coming up at 12:31. Then after that, the voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney, with us on KMOX's Gashouse Gang. We also invite your comments and questions on YouTube, Facebook, and X. You're listening to us on 104.1 FM, KMOX, the home of the Cardinals, and we'll be right back.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts. CBS News special report. Iran has fired 6 short-range missiles into Qatar, targeting a U.S. base there, the largest U.S. base in the region. Reporter Olivia Rinaldi.
We are told by the White House that they are monitoring this closely. We know that at 1 p.m. today, the president was set to convene with national security advisors and members of his national security team here at the White House to talk about what has happened in Iran, the fallout from the bombing of Fordow over the weekend.
Correspondent Weijia Jiang reports the Trump administration had been urging Iran to return to diplomacy, but said it was prepared either way.
The U.S. is not ruling out more attacks. They are saying it really depends on Iran, and if necessary, they will respond again.
Iran said today the U.S. had destroyed diplomacy. Qatar has temporarily suspended air traffic across the country, and foreigners there had been urged to shelter in place. CBS News Special Report. I'm Cammie McCormick.
Charlie Brennan once again with Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. Dr. Bosler, is it possible we might say, oh, those kids are mumbling, when the problem really is our own inability to hear?
Exactly. Hearing is integral in everything that we do. It keeps us involved and embraced in life. Not hearing someone is never normal. Ringing in the ears is never normal. And when people have a hearing loss, oftentimes they complain that they can hear, but they cannot understand people. And avoiding getting a hearing aid can have long-term effects on the speech reception area of the brain. So what that means is if you test and treat the hearing loss early with a hearing aid, we can prevent a decline in the speech understanding that can happen if the hearing loss goes untreated.
The words of Dr. Colleen Bosler at the Audiology Center. 3 locations in St. Louis, 636-441-7470, the Audiology Center, STL.com.
Oh, baby, it is hot out there. 94 degrees, feels like 103. The extreme heat warning is in effect until 9 o'clock tomorrow night.
Sponsored by Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty 314-325-6888.
Need to sell your home and you want the most money? The name to remember is Gloria Lou. Yes, Gloria Lou with your home sold guaranteed realty at 314-325-6888 and start packing.
Cash for Clunkers is back. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is paying cash for your clunkers now. They'll haul away your old garage door and give you instant credit towards a new insulated door. $200 for the first garage door and $100 for each additional door. Cash in your old entry door, too. It's Cash for Clunkers now at Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Convenient, free, in-home estimates. Schedule online at overheaddoorstlouis.com or call 314-781-5200.
It doesn't take a lot to make a big difference.
That's why we've teamed up with Jerry Kelly Heating and Cooling to bring you 100 acts of kindness.
For the next 6 months, the Chris and Amy Show is challenging you to spread kindness in simple, meaningful ways. No big budget needed.
Write a thank you note, help a neighbor, surprise someone with a smile. It all counts.
Let's prove that kindness is contagious. Share your acts with us by using hashtag 100KindActs.
Because a little kindness goes a long way.
Now, the John Rooney Conversation on KMOX. Sponsored by Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance. And if you're a Missourian, we're for you.
Here's a swing and a high fly ball for Carpenter to right field. Back on the track, Hayward at the wall. It's a home run. And a 3-run homer for Matt Carpenter. His 3rd home run today and his 5th hit. An unbelievable day for the Cardinal leadoff batter, Matt Carpenter. 15-1 Cardinals.
John Rooney with that call in 2018. Carpenter went off that day at Wrigley Field with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman, the Gashouse Gang. We welcome in the voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney. How are you, John?
Doing fine, Tom. How about you?
Doing great. I love that call. I love that moment. And when you think of Cards Cubs, a lot of crazy and magical things have happened. A lot of them have happened, actually, at Wrigley Field, including that one. What do you think about when you hear that moment?
Well, that's a great moment for Matt Carpenter, and didn't quite have the huge power numbers after that when he finished that season, even though he revived some of it when he went to the Yankees in a smaller ballpark. But for the moment, what he did against Carpenter and what he was able to do in a big comeback against Clayton Kershaw in the postseason, those were some great moments for Matt Carpenter.
They were, and this one set up a postseason appearance for the Cardinals. Matt Pajeski, our producer, will dial this one up. This is 2019 coming down the stretch. I actually was in the seats for this one, kind of roving the ballpark and watching this one, and John Rooney was in the broadcast booth with this call of Yadier Molina.
Molina hits it high and deep, left center field. Back to the track, the wall. Goner, tie game in the ninth. One pitch from Kimbrough, and Molina ties the game. Unbelievable. 8-8 at Wrigley Field.
You think that's good? Next batter, Paul DeYoung.
Swing and a long one. Home run, Paul DeYoung. Left center field. Back-to-back jack. The Cardinals have taken the lead in the ninth. Craig Kimbrough is serving up batting practice.
John Rooney with another great call. And then from there, the Cardinals win the division, John, and the party was on after that. 4-game sweep the Cardinals had at Wrigley Field.
Well, and we've had some moments with this team in 2025, Tom, where you think, wow, things are really going great through the month of May. And then have we hit a major June swoon by having a 6-game losing streak as part of the start to the month of June? And then they reel off, 6 out of 7 games in the win column. Just when you think they might be falling back in the pack, here they come again, even in the grips of a very tough schedule where it's like 15 games in 14 days. And tonight will be the 6th game in that stretch. They just keep telling us they're going to compete. They're out there to win.
I tell you what, we're going to, you're absolutely right. Phone's breaking up just a touch. We're going to have Matt just connect with you real quick. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back with John Rooney right after this.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're here for all of life's wins. Like when you get a new car, or new boat, or new driver, or when your son moves out, but your mom moves in, or you find out you're expecting again, or when one rental property turns into 2, then 20, or you realize they're all in Tornado Alley. Life is full of life events, so call your Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent, or visit mofbinsurance.com to find an agent near you, and we'll make sure you have the right coverage for each of life's wins.
We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and we're for the people of Missouri, in good times and in bad. We're for Missouri families and Missouri communities. We're for giving back to those communities and lifting people up. And when Missouri weather rips through our state, we're for helping put back the pieces. We're for brighter days and new tomorrows. We are Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, and if you live in Missouri, we're for you.
Tom Ackerman here, joining Busey Bank in recognizing Ron Doherty for building community. President and CEO Ron Doherty has been strengthening our communities for 40 years. After merging Doherty Business Solutions with CGI, he launched Doherty Enterprises and Foundation, which supports the Alzheimer's Association, other worthy causes, and innovative solutions with millions of dollars annually. Follow Doherty Enterprises on LinkedIn to learn more.
This is Pat Buring, Executive Vice President of Busey Bank. The Doherty Foundation supports the Alzheimer's Association and other causes financially, while Doherty Enterprises uses AI and advanced technology to provide support and relief to patients and caregivers dealing with Alzheimer's and other dementia diseases. Follow their lead. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
Now, back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling and by Anderson Hospital on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Also, we have a 4-pack of tickets to give away to see the Cardinals and Cubs tomorrow at Busch Stadium. We'll give those away before the show is over today. We are visiting with John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, and I was talking about this earlier on the Chris and Amy show, that this, for whatever reason, and I guess it's because they're in the same division and such good rivals, that when both teams are good, John, Cardinals are a good team, the Cubs are a good team right now, this series is infinitely more fun.
It's always fun, though, even when the teams aren't near the top of the standings. It's always been a lot of fun, whether it's here or in Chicago, just to see the fans in the stands, the reactions, singing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game" with Cardinals fans trying to drown out the Cubs fans when it's root for the Cardinals or the Cubbies. It's always a lot of fun, and it's a lot more fun for the fans. I've always hated working in that ballpark and always will, but the games, once you get the games going, they're interesting, and for the fans, it is a great atmosphere.
I like your guy Chuck Garfien last week, who said, it's an amusement park up there. He's of course, a White Sox analyst and broadcaster, said it's an amusement park. I like amusement parks, so I do go every once in a while, he said. But John, here at Busch Stadium, the Cardinals are better than I think people thought they were going to be. The Cubs are a very good team. Wanted to get your opinion of the Cubs. We just had David Kaplan on, your good buddy up there. He was
I'm sure he said it all.
He was just gushing about him. What do you think from a Cardinals perspective about the Cubs?
Well, I think if they had Steele, they'd be a really, really tough team to try to contend with. He was such a major force in their pitching staff. Their pitching's still pretty good, and that is a good ball club with what Pete Crow Armstrong has been able to do. As fast as he is, he covers a lot of ground in the outfield, and he can turn singles into doubles into triples, and he'll get a few inside the park home runs in his career. He's very good, and they've added Tucker, and they have a very, very competitive ball club, and it's designed to compete. And the Cardinals are trying to get their minor league system in tune, where when you get those really good players like we've had in the past and in the recent past, John Jay, Daniel Descalso, Alan Craig, that group that came up, you saw they were very well prepared to play and ready to go, and the Cardinals are getting back to that, because we have some good young talent up here right now competing, and to give them a better foundation on the way up to the big leagues and to give them as much as they can, I think that's the goal in the future in this retooling of the Cardinal system and restacking the minor leagues with instructors and all of the tools that'll be necessary and all of the analytics that'll be necessary to help prepare these players to compete. And I think the Cardinals are well on their way in that regard. But right now, what I see on the field, they're doing a very good job of putting their heart and soul into it and their talent, because these guys were good anyway when the Cardinals drafted them or added them by way of trade, that they're getting a chance to show it, and it's fun to watch.
Yeah, how are you feeling now about where the Cardinals are? Because we, talked about this at the end of the Dodgers series and then into the Blue Jays series and Brewers, where they won just one of the 8 games they played during that stretch. And now here we are. They sweep the Sox, and then they take 2 of 3 from the Reds, getting ready for the Cubs here. How are you feeling about where the Cardinals are at this very moment?
I think from what I said a moment ago, where I don't think it really matters what I feel about it, because we thought, hey, they're waning. It's a little bit of a June swoon. The guys weren't expected to do a lot in the standings anyway or do much in the division. And then they have the great May, and then they start out slowly, very slowly in June, including the 6-game streak on the downside. And then they turn it around, and they've won 6 of the last 8 going into this Cubs series. And they're within striking distance of the division, right along with the Brewers. The Reds aren't that far behind, and it's a very competitive division, but one that I really believe this team can hold its own, because they don't give up on themselves. And I've said it time and time again, when they get in the batter's box, they don't care what the score is, up or down. They're out there to give a really good at-bat. And yesterday, had all those fly balls and pop-ups, couldn't straighten anything out. The Reds straightened a few out. That's why they won the game, and they salvaged a game in the series. But still, the Cardinals put the ball in play. We didn't have a huge number of strikeouts in that game, and that's what's encouraging to me. They're out there giving it the best they have every game, and that's all you can ask.
19 comeback wins for the Cardinals already this season, and John, Matthew Liberatore looked better, didn't he, last time on the mound as he goes at it tonight against the Cubs?
I think he's looked better the last 2 or 3 times, and he had the velocity going. He was able to have really good bite on his breaking pitches, and he kind of looked like the Matthew Liberatore we saw at the start of the season that earned Matthew a place in the rotation. So, no, he looked much, much better the last few times out, and I know he's up for the challenge tonight. And I think the guys really believe behind Libby and the way Fetty has been going after hitters lately. I think the guys believe when their starters go out there, they have a better than 50-50 chance of getting them. So let's go out and give it everything we have. That's what I've seen from this team. They expect to win when they go on the field, and they like what they have when that starter steps out there. Tonight it's Liberatore.
John, both teams play in it, so it's not like there's much of an advantage there. And it was hot and gross in Chicago over the weekend, too. But we're talking about extreme heats the last couple of days and into tomorrow. So, do you notice much of a difference when teams have to play in these conditions?
Oh, they both have to play in it, and I don't notice much of a difference. They have to do what they can to stay hydrated and to try to stay cool. And the umpires had to be in that mix as well over the weekend. It's something that both sides will deal with, and unless I miss my guess, Tom, we've had hot weather in St. Louis before, haven't we?
Yes, we have. We absolutely have.
It's summertime now.
Summertime in St. Louis, no doubt about it. That's Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman, and this has been the voice of the Cardinals, John Rooney. Always a pleasure. Great to visit with you.
Thanks, Tom, and nice memories from the days at Wrigley Field.
Oh, good times. Great calls. John Rooney with us on KMOX. The Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com. Let's do this. Let's give away some tickets, a 4-pack of tickets to tomorrow's game.
Yep.
Tomorrow night, 6:45 game, Cardinals and Cubs at Busch Stadium. Let's go in honor of our great friend Albert Pujols, caller number 5. At 314-955-1120. 314-955-1120. Caller number 5 wins the tickets, a 4-pack to tomorrow. Cards, Cubs. We'll be back in a moment on the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime. We're not here to be the biggest. We're here to bring you something we believe is better. Our plans start at just $20. You'll get the same fast nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friend Mark Cantor at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, so I take this very seriously. Mark is a great attorney. He has a great team. He is from St. Louis. He is local. Call 314-628-9999 or visit CantorInjuryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be solely based on advertisements.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Universal Windows Direct. If you're a homeowner like me, you know how it goes. You work hard for your home, you take pride in it. But let's be honest, it's always something, right? Well, right now from Universal Windows, you can get payments as low as $99 a month or no payments and no interest for an entire year. Call 314-334-2522 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. I've been in business with these guys for a while now. I really trust them. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
Named one of Newsweek's world's best hospitals for 2025, Anderson Hospital is your hospital for life, delivering exceptional, compassionate care to families across the Metro East. From emergency services to specialized treatments, our dedicated team supports your health at every stage. Experience world-class care close to home. Discover the difference at andersonhospital.org.
1 in 4 people surveyed by Bankrate.com say they're literally losing sleep because of worries that they may have not saved enough to retire. If you're ready to get serious about planning for your financial future, you could start by listening to the All Financial Hour with host Steve All of the All Financial Group.
What are your wishes, hopes, and dreams? What's retirement look like for you? Because everybody, that picture is different. If you want assistance, we can also help you at that point.
Saturday mornings at 10 or Sunday evenings at 6. Right here on KMOX.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Michael's Baths. Your bathroom might be small, but fixing it can feel huge. Cracked tiles, outdated fixtures, and that tub that's seen better days. Well, at Michael's Baths, we're going to get you the bathroom of your dreams at a price that you can afford. Mike usually comes in 30 to 50% less than the national companies. He is local. He is family-owned and operated. He's done this for 30 years, and he is a great guy. 636-775-0800. 636-775-0800 or michaelsbaths.com.
Now back to the Gashouse Gang, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling and by Anderson Hospital on 104.1 FM KMOX.
William in Edwardsville is your winner. Be nice to William out in Edwardsville. He's got 4 tickets to tomorrow night's Cards-Cubs game at Wrigley. I'm assuming he's a Cardinals fan. Cubs fans over on the Illinois side.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Or maybe William owes somebody. And
Yeah.
this is a way for William to make it up to them.
We'll see how many people pile into that stadium tonight through Thursday and counter, which I would imagine an influx of Cubs fans. They're excited about their team, and it's not too far to get in here and enjoy. We hope they spend a lot of money in downtown St. Louis on hotels and restaurants and whatnot.
Well, we need some money in St. Louis. We need people to come down here.
We will take it. Pitching matchups. Matthew Liberatore starts for the Cardinals tonight. Ben Brown, we talked about him. He's had a rocky season. He starts for the Cubs. And then tomorrow, Jamison Tyone against TBD. We think that's going to be Michael McGreevy. McGreevy would be on turn. He pitched game 2 of the doubleheader on Thursday, so this would be on turn his 5th day. And it makes a lot of sense. I saw Katie Wu was the first to report that from The Athletic earlier today. Jesse Rogers of ESPN reported earlier that Shota Imanaga is going to start the Thursday day game, and David Kaplan just reiterated that on our show earlier. But the Cardinals have not announced their starters. I'm going to assume that Fetty is part of that this week, and we'll see what they end up doing the rest of the week.
Well, I mean, as far as McGreevy goes, I know that Cardinals fans, a lot of us are. We just want to see him pitch, right? I mean, every opportunity we get to see him, I think a lot of people wanted him in the rotation before the season even started, and there's a lot of good reason for that. My guess is you are going to see quite a bit of him from now until the end of the season. Doesn't mean he's going to be making regular starts, but I think we're going to see a lot more of him. And well, good. I want him to get that experience. I want him to continue to get reps at the big league level because he might factor in their plans after this.
You could put Sonny Gray in there. Sonny started on Saturday, so that would have him on turn for a Thursday start, and I think that's part of the reason they did that. They wanted to get him home for a couple of starts against the division rivals when they moved the rotation around and got things going. And as it turned out, man, I thought one of the great wins of the year so far. It kind of flies under the radar, but Friday was really cool. I mean, they had Cole Swindell with the postgame concert, drew a lot of people in, but there was a great vibe to the ballpark, and Andre Palante delivered. I mean, he came in and pitched a terrific game, and the Cardinals with kind of like a B lineup. I mean, Ollie said it himself. They were in survival mode. They called it a survival game, and they won that game 6-1. Really solid game. Again, making contact and making the fielders make plays on you.
Yeah, but you know what? Even more than that, I know we're running out of time here, but it's the following day for me, Tom, to fall back like they did, down 5. You know, you're down 5, you get to the bottom of the 8th inning, and you're not down by 5, I'm sorry. They had scored. They had the Reds had 5 runs. Cardinals had to come back, and they did it. They did all of their work late in the game. That, to me, was a great win. And I think both of those first two, of course, they lose the series or they lose the final of the series. Not that big of a deal. You take care of the Reds, who, by the way, haven't won a series in that ballpark in almost 20 years now, right? It's like 19 years.
That's really strange if that's the case. And then
that is nuts.
The other thing is Joel Pozo, my man. I mean, he comes through with some big hits, including the walk-off on Saturday. The Cardinals have a lot of catchers, as we know, and Pages and Pozo are carrying the load right now with Herrera, unfortunately, on the injured list. And when it's a hamstring, you just don't know. I mean, Imanaga had a hamstring, and he hadn't pitched since May 4th.
Yep.
So that's 6+ weeks for him. I got to think it's probably around the same time frame for Herrera. You got to be really careful with those hamstrings. But it opens up an opportunity for a red-hot hitter right now in Alec Burleson to play every day, and for Nolan Gorman to get the ABs that they've been seeking, and he's been better. I mean, he still occasionally will be chasing these pitches and not look right, but when he does deliver, they go a long way, and he's had some great moments. So, hey, look, this scrappy bunch, this Cardinals team
huge
that has
series.
Somehow made it 4.5 games between them and the Cubs, could really close the gap. And watch out for the Brewers. They have some easy stuff on their schedule here. So Cardinals and Cubs, a very important week in St. Louis. For Chris Ranji, I'm Tom Ackerman. Thanks for joining us on KMOX, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com.